2024 just for the flex of it. Yes, this is a PDGA C tier taking place in Bend, Oregon at Pine Nursery Park. We've got Riddley Barker joining us along with Nate Perkins, who lives in Bend, Oregon. Three-time world champ Nate Doss, and rounding out the card, another Bend native right now, Augie Tobish. As I said, this is a flex start on a Wednesday. Yeah, why wouldn't we record that? See how things unfold here at this C tier. It's the last card of the day to go out. We know what the hot scores are. We'll see if anyone can challenge the scores that are already in the clubhouse. 16-year-old Riddley Barker, who just got out of school, like the school day, is here playing. He comes from Prineville, Oregon. Here's Nate Perkins. Used to seeing him doing some interviews and being on the mic, doing press conferences and other things. Also out there on the sidelines. Let's see what he's got in store for us. And then, as I said, three-time world champ Nate Doss. Fun fact, looks like only about his 6th ever C tier in his life. First being a flex start event. And Augie Tobish rounds out the card. Plenty of power, and that goes way deep. Augie comes in with a 994 rating. No shortage of power for him. And he picks up a birdie to start, and oh no. That is brutal. Yeah, it was coming in with plenty of pace, but not enough chain action, I guess, to keep it in there. So that's going to be a bogey for Riddley to start. Meanwhile, Doss in for birdie. And Perkins with the park job. But wait, was there an ace on this hole? Yeah, there was. Fortunately, I wasn't there to cover it, so to speak, but Fenton Flanagan, the 12-year-old, aced it to claim half of the ace pool thus far. Ben Baker got an ace over on hole number 10 earlier in the morning. Manageable 245, plays longer uphill. And the green, as you'll see when we get up there, is anything but easy. Too much out of Augie. Riddley, as I mentioned, 16 years old. He's only been playing about 18 months. I believe it was his cousin that got him introduced to the game at camp, and now completely hooked on it. I'll just admit, there's no good place to stand. So I'm halfway up the green because everybody is not parked. And so just rock everywhere. Oh, and the laser.
That's awesome.
Picking up the birdie immediately, negating the bogey on the previous hole. So back to even. And that was Perkins coming up just short. No, excuse me, that was Augie coming up just short. I apologize. Here's Perks.
Such a good putt, too.
Anything can happen on this green. Like, I guess that's the big takeaway here. And do you damage your disc and ruin your disc playing out here?
Right.
Yeah, you can. You're pretty much going to do that out at Pine Nursery. On a green like this, it feels somewhat unavoidable.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, not easy to cover either. All right, I'll go to kind of the bend, just short of the halfway point. This is uphill and essentially blind. They can see the flag from where they are, but that's about it. You can't see the basket. So I'm trying to give you guys an angle here. That's going to be off to the right. The miss is short and left, or anywhere left in my opinion, and ideally just a bit short. Not quite as short as Doss is there, but at least you have a wide open look at the pin. Augie's also off on the right side, kind of in the same territory where we saw Perkins. So just being able to pitch out and find your line when you're off the fairway can be tough enough here, along with trying to actually record it. Doss, 1,007 rating. That pretty much is made up of his 3 rounds earlier at the Beaver State Fling this year. Those are the only 3 rounds that are currently counting toward his rating, as Riddley's not able to capitalize. And Nate will walk away with the par. Doss playing Beaver State Fling and USDGC. So this is just a few weeks short of USDGC in terms of his prep and going out and playing. I've been watching him practice for the few days that I've been around during a few of the broadcasts, and I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he is too. Of course, a USDGC champion and a 3-time world champ. Riddley hopes to be a professional golfer himself. He says Milo is his favorite course. We all know it's no longer crazy for a 16-year-old to think about being a professional disc golfer and actually having it be a fruitful, viable, legitimate career. Augie had graduated from OSU Cascades last summer, and he's got a degree in energy systems engineering. Waiting on some magic here. That's not coming from Riddley with that putt. It's very impressive, Riddley just picking up a disc about 18 months or so ago. And then in asking him, as we're watching the birdie by Augie, asking him about being filmed and playing with a couple of these guys, and he was all for it. Doss, birdie look. Uh-oh. I think it'll be interesting to see, and full disclosure, of course, I'm good friends with Nate. It'll be interesting to see will all that rust, or any rust. I mean, and you can't read into one missed putt too much, don't get me wrong. But will any rust that he may have, has he been able to get past all of it in training for the last month or so, or the last few months where he's put in a little extra time? And it's ramped up towards the USDGC. I think that's the question. I mean, you could probably count on 2 hands the amount of times he missed a putt that short in his career. And again, I'm not making anything of a single putt, but we know you can only miss like one of those a weekend, in 72 holes at a major. So I'm excited to see how things are going to unfold. Yeah, not going to lie. I may never film at this course again. I really like the idea of capturing this card and having the idea of a flex start recorded. And I really enjoy running this tournament. It's the third year in a row that it's happened. Filming this course is incredibly difficult. And I feel like even if you had another camera or two, just so many blind shots. And I'm trying to get the halfway point just to give you guys a perspective of both tee and catch. Even that is incredibly difficult on some of these shots. All right, give us some magic here, Augie. Start of the day, relatively calm conditions. A lot of people thought, well, all the morning rounds are definitely going to have the advantage, and it was pretty calm. For a couple of hours, the wind picked up significantly in the early to mid-afternoon, and by the time we came back and also, well, I should say the time we went out for this round at 5, it definitely was back to being somewhat on the calmer side. There were still some swirls, a little bit of wind here and there. We can hear it in the mic. But varying conditions throughout the day for sure. Big thanks to our friends at the Distinguished Doodle. Go ahead and use the code The Disc Golf Guy, and you get yourself some pretty significant discounts when you're out there. I appreciate all of the support coming out of Arizona, a product made right here in the U.S., and has been a big supporter of the channel. I didn't really think I was in play standing at this turn point, but in theory, I guess I was. Not for Perkins here. He's going forehand. Let me know in the comments, when's the last time you saw Perks doing some work? Obviously, he has really taken to disc golf media. That's been his main focus over the last couple of seasons now, but we also see him busting out some rounds and being on coverage from time to time. But when's the last time, what was the last video you saw with Nate Perkins? Put that in the comments. Obviously an incredible player, but has focused more of his efforts in the media side versus playing. So good to see him out here. He's living in Bend as Nate doesn't convert from Circle 2. Living in Bend with his fiance. Riddley. Stuck with just going up and over. Hot score came into the clubhouse a little earlier. Oh, the frustration, you can feel it. Liam O'Kennedy came in with a 9 under, an early leader. The gentleman that aced, Ben Baker, had aced hole number 10. He had the hot round for a little while. And then a little later, Liam O'Kennedy came in with a 9 under.
Such a good putt.
And yes, all 4 of these guys playing MPO. This video wouldn't happen without my Patreon, so I appreciate you guys supporting that in whatever way you can. And we're on 7, really letting it loose, 436 feet. Playing from this this is one of my favorite tees in all of disc golf. Just the way it's inside this rock formation, little valley area. There is, of course, a concrete tee in there. And there's 2 pins on almost every hole out here, I believe, maybe even more. But we're playing to the longer pin position, and throwing from inside of this tee area is absolutely beautiful. The problem is if I'm standing there, you have no idea where the disc is going to this long pin. Couple of approaches that are hopefully going to result in par. Here's Doss. And again, just barely off. I think that's the 4th time now in 7 holes. He birdied the first one. So for 4th time in the last 6 holes, we've seen him draw metal on the birdie attempt. No shortage of power from Riddley when he's jamming that one in.
Good chains,
Yeah. Now you hear the guys talking about good chains. I believe these are Mach 2s, which aren't chain abundant, is I guess the way I would word that. Not nearly as much as a lot of our other baskets have anyway. A little stagnant. Let's get something going here, guys. I feel like we're ready to turn things around here. 335, hole number 8. Has the power, but left and deep of the pin. Here, a little more wind picking up. See if Riddley can ride it just right. Hits right near the basket. Big skip, but still have a look for birdie. I think it's a very fair question to ask here for all of you is, have you played in a flex start? And when you see a score that's posted, is that more or less pressure on you knowing what maybe your division leader has already shot? Knowing what it would take, knowing how many holes you have to play, all of those other things. Leave that in the comments and let me know how you feel about that pressure, or if you even look, or if you even care, or maybe you don't play flex start, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to necessarily be a flex start. I think even in a regular tournament that has the tee times, somebody's going out at 10 a.m. and then maybe you don't go out till 2 p.m. You're seeing what hot scores are shot. Or you have the capability, at least, as we watch Riddley put in for birdie. I want to know if that adds more pressure.
Yeah. Here you go, Perkins.
Augie looking like the lone par. Everyone else on the card picking up a birdie, and somewhat of a slow start here. We got the Nates both at 2 under.
I want birdies.
I want birdies. Yeah, I bet you do. Great design work, Odd by Design. A couple of great humans out of Arizona. I'll put the link of their information, a link to them in the description. The Herr brothers. Short, but a look for birdie. A lot of mids coming out of Nate here, just throughout the entire course. Here on 9 as well. But I feel like we're seeing a lot of mids, a couple buzzes, a couple of wasp.
Yeah.
Some of the disc in his bag might be older than a few of the viewers these days. Nate Doss, not a collector. Literally just has maybe a couple hundred discs at most. Oh, and buries that one. And all of the discs that he does have, very, very little sentimental value to most of them. I think he's got a lot of backups and potential throwers and whatnot, but certainly not a collection of hundreds and hundreds or thousands of discs throughout all the years of playing. Augie gets to 2. The putt off the cage that we saw had come from Perkins. So at the halfway point, or a little less than the halfway point, we see just 3 under by Doss. They are playing 19 holes. Why? I don't know. There's 19 holes on this course. That's the best I can tell you. There's 19 legitimate holes. Sometimes you see players with, you know, there'll be 18 holes and then somebody just says, oh, there's always this one shot, you know, back toward the parking lot or whatever the case might be. I don't know how. I apologize. I don't know the story about how they arrived at 19 to make it permanent. But if you were to come out here and play, you would play 19 holes. Uphill 289, easily playing 320, 330, maybe even more. In the sight of Ben Baker, who got the ace earlier in the morning. And that is Perkins from way off on the left side of the pin, and now gives him a chance to save the par. Nate, the remaining birdie look. And he does get that one. So picking up a little momentum here. We've seen him birdie the last 3. Augie cleaning up for par. You can reflect as you want on this. I feel sometimes it can be really tough to take a flex start like this, almost take it serious enough. Oftentimes you're playing with your friends or people you know maybe really well. Maybe you signed up with them or showed up with them. And from there, and it depends on everyone's personality, but sometimes I feel like it's almost can be too lax. And finding the right amount of intensity can be tough. This one plays down the hill. Doss just barely past the basket. Wide, but too wide. That doesn't have an angle to get a skip for him.
Oh, nice, dude.
I mean, if you're putting struggling, you just put it closer to the basket or ace it. I mean, those are a couple wise words. A little advice that I heard many decades ago when playing this. And that'll be within putting range. Augie's going to have longest distance, though. Or, excuse me, sorry, Riddley will.
Looks so good. Really good. There we go. 3-time, ladies and gentlemen. Now.
He's putting now, as Perk says. That's 4 in a row for Doss after a relatively slow start. Augie cleans up. Augie says that he's not a good putter. I mean, that's maybe just what he says. You can believe that if you want or not. He says he also loves sushi, so do with that as you will. He's also a big snowboarder and rock climber, so giving you the full scoop. He did say, too, that he didn't know Nate was a disc golfer. He just knew him as his dad's friend for years, and then once he got into disc golf around 17-ish, he realized who he was. So, pretty funny, because, of course, Doss has, moved into Bend with Val and good friend Justin Selmer and created Bevel Brewing. And plenty of people have no idea of the history of him or his wife or his mother-in-law who lives in town. All these disc golf celebrities and superstars and Hall of Famers. Augie's dad being Jim Tobish, a gentleman I've known for quite a few years, long-time golfer. Trying to get the swing, and this is really just a righty hyzer, and it's a matter of keeping it tight enough to the right side. It plays uphill, and that has gone to the right, long and right of the pin. And you can see there's not that big of an alleyway or a tunnel to the pin, so you see that is right as well by quite a bit. Augie doesn't have a whole lot of confidence. What's Riddley have to say about that? That looks like a par save to me. Dosh trying to keep the birdie train rolling. Do trains really roll? I guess they do. They roll on the tracks. When I think like tires.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know.
Nice, Augie.
Just enough.
Good birdie.
Guessing we didn't see a ton of birdies on this particular hole. And yes, that's just one of two that came in on the day. We had 17 total MPO players and only 2 birdies on this hole. Augie was one of them. So he takes the tee. We head over to 13. Short, downhill. I won't call it blind because you can actually see the pin. It's just tough. It's guarded in terms of being able to see it, but it's, well, right down there. You see some of the orange kind of poking through. Pretty gentle release to that. We'll see if Perks has the angle. I think he's going to like that. Riddley told me he would certainly be honored to be sponsored by Dynamic Discs. I think that's one of his goals, along with being a professional, being out on the tour. You gotta like that. Circle 2. After 13, we'll actually be going up those stairs and crossing the road to head over to the next hole. Desert, high plains golf, whatever you call it, very different. As you see Nate tapping off the sand or dirt off of his disc. I come from Wisconsin and the Midwest, where the topography offers plenty of trees, but then lush green grass. And so this is a very different style of play. And, yeah, I hate filming this. This hole. Just not a good place to stand to try and get both the tee and then actually where it's going when those guys are going up the left side route. A little bit easier here as Riddley goes big hyzer. And this, I think, is going to play a little longer than what the posted distance is. At least it seems like it does, in my opinion. But Doss has a look for birdie. On the pole the whole way. 7 under. Hot score is 9. That one catches left side. I believe there's Tuesday night tag leagues out here at this course every Tuesday. Pins move just about weekly, if not every single week. We've got a few different tees and a few different pins. So PDGA sanctioned leagues taking place out here every Tuesday now. So make sure you guys check in with the Facebooks and see what's going on. Everything also listed out there on UDisc. Great group of individuals that administer everything going on out here, from moving the baskets to running the leagues.
What is this? In! Oh,
Oh, Doss.
oh, that was sick! With the buzz?
Wow.
Man, you just
Still
put a
got it.
beat on
Didn't go in. I still got to make the putt.
Yeah, it would have helped if that hit something for sure.
Dude, I thought it was going to hover right in there, man.
341. And Perks trying to find just the right angles. Also basket hunting. Everyone now, well, not everyone. A few of us are feeling a little bit of the pressure. Justin, celebrating a birthday. Justin Selmer, that is, celebrating a birthday on this very day. And for the first time in 17 years, is playing live music over at Bevel, the last live music night of the year on a Wednesday. So he played earlier in the day during his birthday, and now played in the tournament, and now is playing. So that's taking place, I want to say, from 7 to 9 or 6 to 8, whatever the case is, and we're trying to get off the course, and it's getting legitimately darker at this point, and the camera is doing a good job of not letting you know as much, but it's starting to get dark, and we feel like we're in a little bit of a time crunch, as I know we're trying to get over to Bevel to support and enjoy the last night of live music. So there's a lot of things going on here, all while trying to still shoot, the hot scores, of course. So that's going to be a disappointing par for a couple of those guys as they will head over to hole number 16. Just 262. Really straightforward backhand hyzer. Pretty much just like that. You kind of see it pop up. The green has a lot of rock around it. It's up kind of on a mound or a hillside. So you have all of that to contend with. And then the basket itself is raised ever so slightly. It's a slightly longer pole. I like the shot by Augie. Nate's was a little short, and this is going to be even shorter for Perkins. But this is pretty much just a stock hyzer shot like you're seeing there. Does it get left enough? Not quite. May have gotten hung up. Oh, you see it pop up there and gets an unfavorable kick. It sits down, but this has to be, I feel like, one of the easier holes on the course.
What do you think, Augie?
I'd say you, Perkins.
We're here.
Left side for Perk. So I hate to say it, but yeah, this is definitely one of the easiest holes on the course. In fact, when I do a little sort, I guess it's playing in the middle. 35% of the field birdied, but none of those came from this card. The next hole, which is a very attackable par 4, is going to play as the single easiest hole on the course, but this averaged 2.65, and all 4 of our guys taking par. Darkness is coming. .615. Straight ahead. Fine. That's about all you can say there. I mean, you really just want to pump this out as far as you possibly can. Avoid the couple of trees that you find, but anything past these initial trees right here in front of you sets you up for a wide open approach. Remember, 2 holes to play after this one.
Right through them. Nice, Nate.
Perks splits them. Off on the left side, plenty of room. As I said, just getting past those initial trees is all you need to do here. Stand still, forehand coming from Doss. You were probably wondering, Justin, Miggs, what's the band that those guys are in later in the day? Lisa Frank and the Trapper Keepers. So we'll just put that one in your back pocket because that might be a trivia question at some point that you'll need to know. Light on the approach from Riddley, leaving him with this for the birdie and doesn't draw any metal. A little closer for Perks. .17, certainly the easiest one on the course, as I mentioned. Played at 3.35 as Riddley makes the comebacker. Doss gets to 8. Augie moves to 6. We're going to head back across the road. Just 2 holes left to play. Again, much darker than what the camera is showing us at the moment.
There is a road back there that, like, if you throw away past it, it's out of bounds.
It's 230 feet. Very small incline. Light out of the hand of Perkins, but he'll still have a look. Not a favorable reaction for Riddley. So I know I've asked a bunch of questions here throughout the round, wanting to know more about what you guys think, but will you watch like single round flex start rounds like this? I guess maybe my question is answered if you're watching this and here you are on the second to last hole. That's telling me you are, but would you watch more of them? And is it all about the caliber of players? I think about new courses that could be seen, maybe new players that could be featured, or is it just all about the prestige of the player or the actual event that matters? So let me know. I don't think I'm going to make it a regular routine, nor do I have the capability of going out and capturing a whole bunch of one-round C-tier flex starts. But if the opportunity presented itself and enough people are interested in watching it, you just have no idea what you're going to get in terms of the results and the card that you put together or the card that's assembled. Certainly an idea, though, as we head to the 19th and final hole.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Terry, for running this.
Yeah, thank you, Terry.
High five, Terry Bear. High five to the camera. Yeah.
Can't wait to kill my rating next year. It's great caddying.
Doss now tied for the lead. Wants to go forehand to see if he can finish it off, and that's going to be short and right. And a really long look at birdie at best. Augie hangs it out much wider. Maybe unbeknownst to Augie, he's sitting right around the cut line. 6 under, appears to be inside the cut for the cash. Again, just 17 players paying out standard PDGA payouts here. I think it was $35 to enter. I put all $35 into the purse and ultimately covered the per player fee, the sanctioning fee, and all that other stuff. So more than 100% payout. Big money here we're talking. Doss. Oh no, hung up. And he'll leave a little on that. And again, getting darker and darker by the moment. Perks sitting at 6. Trying to pull ahead, take solo possession of 5th. That's not going to happen. Augie could do the same, but he goes deep. So Doss currently tied for the lead. And stays there. Doss, after a very slow start, just 1 under through the first 7. Picks up 8 more birdies, goes bogey free. And the bogey by Augie will knock him out of the cash. He won't get anything. He'll fall to 5 under, and that's going to actually take him out of the money. As Perks stays at 6. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to catch up with Doss and crew. Thank you guys for coming along for the ride. Thank you again to all my Patreon supporters. Hey, Doss, another big C-tier victory in your life.
Is it?
How does that
No,
feel?
no. What was the lead?
You're the lead, bro.
I'm at? No, was it 9 or 10?
9. You tied. You tied.
I tied. See, that's a tie.
That's a dub, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Does that count?
That's a dub.
Because it's...
Add it, bro.
Making your second ever C-tier win?
I think it might... okay, it's my first ever flex start I've ever played. So that's big love to you, Terry. And yeah, it was super fun, man. Great group. Just the course was presented pretty difficult. A lot of tough wins out there. So thanks for being out here, Terry. Thanks for running it. Thanks for being you, buddy. We
Big
love
old
you.
C-tier, you got it.
You know it, man.
Dang! Doss undefeated in C-tiers this
All
year.
I know.
And as we said, congrats as Nate Doss ties Liam O'Kennedy for the win. Thank you, everyone who came out and played for the 3rd straight year, just for the flex of it 3. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you like the action, and we'll see you guys next time.